Okay, so picture this. Your team is at rock bottom. I mean, completely written off by everyone. The World Championship? That feels like an impossible dream. But your captain, he refuses to give up against all odds. Now, this isn't just a sports story, not by a long shot. It's the story of a leader who inspired one of the greatest comebacks in history. With just a few simple words, a captain completely transformed his team's spirit. Cornered tigers. Suddenly, that became their identity, their war cry. This wasn't just some locker room pep talk. This was the birth of a legend.
And that's the real question, isn't it? How does one person's belief do all that? This story goes so much deeper than just a single tournament. It's really about the making of the man himself, the kind of man who could just pull that kind of belief out of thin air. So, to understand the captain, we first have to understand the man. His journey didn't just kick off in that World Cup final. No, it started years and years earlier, and it was shaped by this really unique mix of, well, privilege and just this relentless drive. You see, Imran Khan was never your typical cricketer. He was an Oxford-educated intellectual, came from a pretty prominent family. But out on the cricket pitch, all that academic polish just gave way to this raw, unbridled passion. He was tall, athletic, and fiercely competitive. I mean, he was physically built to be a fearsome fast bowler.
But look, raw talent alone, that doesn't make you a legend. Khan's journey from just a promising player to a global icon was, well, it was forged in the fire of criticism and built on years of just relentless dedication to his craft.
And this comparison right here, it really tells the whole story. Early in his career, he was all about raw speed, but he often lacked control. The critics were all over him, doubting him. But he didn't break. Instead, he dedicated himself to mastering that power, and he transformed from this kind of erratic talent into one of the most feared bowlers in the entire world.
His secret weapon was something called reverse swing, a notoriously difficult skill to get right. He figured out how to make an old, worn-out cricket ball basically defy physics, swerving unpredictably through the air. For the world's best batsman, it was nearly impossible to read. This wasn't just some trick. It was an art form that he absolutely perfected.
And here's the thing that's so crucial. He wasn't just a threat with the ball. Imran Khan also developed into a highly capable batsman. We're talking about someone who could single-handedly rescue his team from a losing position. This super rare ability to be amazing at both bowling and batting, well, it makes him one of the greatest all-arounders the game has ever seen.
But his individual brilliance, as amazing as it was really only part of the story. Khan's biggest impact came when he took over as captain. And he didn't just lead the team, he totally reshaped its entire culture from the ground up. He had this really clear four-step philosophy. First, he demanded discipline. Second, he spotted and mentored young talent. Third, he relentlessly preached self-belief. And finally, he insisted on playing a bold, attacking style of cricket. That was his formula, and it turned a pretty inconsistent team into an absolute powerhouse. And while, yeah, he was famous for his aggressive tactics on the field, his true genius as a leader was actually in mentorship. He just had this eye for talent. He spotted future legends like Wasim Akram and Walker Younis and personally guided them, transforming their raw potential into world-class skill. In doing so, he created a dynasty of Pakistani fast bowling that would last for years.
Which brings us to it, the defining moment of his career, the 1992 Cricket World Cup, a tournament that started as a total disaster and somehow ended like a fairy tale.
And to say things started poorly, that is a massive understatement. Pakistan lost several of their early matches, and morale was just at rock bottom. The team looked completely defeated. It seemed almost certain they were going to be on the first flight home.
All the experts, all the critics, they had completely written them off. I mean, statistically, their path to the final was practically impossible. For any other team, this would have been the end of the line.
But this is where leadership really, really matters. Imran Khan was the one person who never wavered, not for a second. He saw a path forward when literally no one else did, and that belief he had, it was infectious.
And there it is again, the cornered tiger. With their backs against the wall, he didn't ask them to just go out and play, he asked them to fight. Inspired by this, the team went on an unbelievable winning streak, defying every single odds stacked against them.
So, in the final against England, with the whole world watching, Imran Khan didn't just lead from the sidelines. Nope. He walked out to the middle himself and scored a crucial 72 runs, setting the foundation for his team's total. He led from the front when it mattered most.
And they did it, from the absolute brink of elimination to lifting that trophy. It remains one of the most iconic and inspirational comeback stories in all of sports history, orchestrated by the sheer will of one man. But for Imran Khan, winning the World Cup wasn't the end of the story. In fact, you could say it was just the beginning of a new and even more ambitious chapter of his life. After retiring right at the peak of his career, he pivoted entirely. Inspired by the memory of his mother, who he'd lost to cancer, he dedicated himself to philanthropy. He fundraised and built a state-of-the-art cancer hospital, making sure to provide free care to those in need. It was this exact same drive to serve his country that eventually led him into the political arena, where he would climb all the way to the highest office in the land, a truly remarkable transition for any athlete. So when you look at his whole legacy, you can really see these four distinct pillars. He was a terrifying fast bowler, a match-saving all-rounder, an inspirational captain, and finally a national leader who took all the lessons he learned on the field and applied them to a much, much larger stage. And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Imran Khan's story really forces us to ask, what truly defines greatness? Is it about the trophies you win and the records you break? Or is it about what you build once the game is over?